ex-voorman van Sepultura heeft zich nu helemaal op de tribal core gestort met zijn nieuwe band Soulfly.
There it is again. Watch. Right at this position, straight ahead. It's coming this way. It's gotta be somewhere.
This is the Soulfly tribe house. We came here, the reason I will explain probably why we decided to buy this house was we were not really looking for a house at that time. A friend of ours, found this place and told us to come and check it out. It was for sale. It was the first time my whole family came here. I came here with all my children and my wife, and it was the first time since the death of Dana, Glorison, that my entire family laughed. They always smile, every one of them. And it was a magical moment, because for 2 years, my family, was going through the tragedy and the sadness.
You were there at the conception of Soulfly, right?
Yeah.
What was that time like?
A lot of emotions was going.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot of unfortunately it was like a lot of negative things was going on. So that's what kind of we tried to put out on the album. All the things that happened with us, especially with Max, his stepson was murdered, the split up with the band, Sepultura, and a lot of our friends happened. Chico Science and the Sons of B, a really close friend of ours died in a car crash. She was like, 97 was a dark year for everybody. So we were going through a lot of weird emotions, and we put that in an album, try to put in a positive way, like show how we can come out of that.
Isn't that very, very difficult to do?
We're doing it.
Did you know Max before you joined Soulfly?
I vaguely knew him. I met him a couple times. Actually, I met him in LA about 4 years before Foundation's convention. But I didn't know him that well.
No.
No.
How's he in real life?
he's pretty much the way he presented himself to you, I'm sure. You know? He's
Easygoing
pretty
guy.
easygoing, consistent. He's devoted to his family and to this band completely. And you know, it's been a smooth transition. Joining into this tribe, like, you know, I feel welcome. I feel good.
I did a remix for Sepultura, KSBC, and we got to know each other through that. You know, he liked what I did on there, and then I got to meet him again on the last of the Sepultura tour in '96. We talked more about, you know, doing stuff, you know, doing more remixes, and you know, did some performances with him and stuff. And then after that, I guess he kept me in mind and called me, you know.
Wasn't it strange for you to form a new band?
Yeah, but I had no other way out, you know.
Oh, I see, but still, it must be uncomfortable in a way.
It still is a little bit, even though it's much better now and I'm much more calm with the guys. I like them, I know how they play, and getting used to the idea that I don't play with the same guys that I played 14 years ago. But change, it happens in life, you know. You cannot plan your life. Things happens, and when something comes and it changes, I try to take advantage of it for the better. And I think that's what Soulfly is. Some things I do in Soulfly I couldn't do in Sepultura. And there's really cool things actually that I do here now. I was restricted. Maybe even the influences I put on Soulfly, like we can play hardcore metal, and we can play some parts of songs that has even bossa nova or raga, or influence from new bands like Asian Dub Foundation or Fundamental that we listen to, all the way to hardcore. And with Sepultura, I think maybe it wouldn't work out. People were not going to understand. Plus, we have a little bit of a different crowd, more open-minded crowd with Soulfly. This is a place called New River. It's where I bought this house. It's 7 acres. It's where I'm gonna, you know, build a studio, and it's gonna be my kind of like my own private heaven, you know, away from the city and traffic and everything, where I can dedicate my whole full time to music, which is what I've been dreaming about doing my whole life one day, you know. So it's almost there. Yep, check it out. This is the studio, you know, where a lot of music already has been done, and a lot of music is still gonna be done here. I wrote that Soulfly thing up there. This is a little shrine, just my mother made that for me. When I bought the house, she bought that for me.
And what's his statue?
It's Indian, you know. My mother, she's Brazilian, but she studied like yoga, and she knows a lot about Indian from India and stuff. She knows much more than me. She gave me that as just like a present for good luck and everything, you know, good vibes. And I did the book. I came with the idea making a book because I know a lot of people is gonna be coming here, musicians, friends, you guys. So everybody get to sign, you know, when they come here. I'll show a little bit there. Yeah, the day I was kind of inspired by Lee Perry, Max Arc. I won't burn it down though. No. No. Gloria wrote "We Are What We Are," which is it's a line that's written on our wall in the other house and became Sepultura's, one of Sepultura's videos. There's some friends that wrote some stuff. That's Zion, some of Zion's writing.
Yeah. That's your son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 5 years old. Some people left their dreads, you know.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do here is build some shelves so I can put all the machineries, you know, all the 8 tracks, 4 tracks, whatever. And then I'll sit in there, I'll have the view like that to work, you know. It's something my whole life I haven't got a chance to. Most of the music I wrote was, you know, in my house, was in my bedroom or in the kitchen. A lot of the roots I was written in the kitchen. Which is kind of cool in a way, you know, it's underground, but this is something I've been dreaming about for a long time. And that up there is something I did, I think it's kind of cool. This is actually the real tape from the song Boomba. That's the real tape from the studio. So if you put in a machine, it will play. When I was in the studio, I cut it, I didn't care. After they were done, you know, it's on the album, I cut it a piece. I said, I want this on my studio.
So that's a master tape?
It's a master tape. It's original master tape from the record. This is something with the special meaning, I think, you know, is the t-shirt we did for when 1 year of Dana's death. We made this shirt, which some people saw I wear it through the whole European tour as a tribute for him. I wear a black one of these, but with the same writing, you know, in memory of D-Lo, which was his nickname.
I want to dedicate the next song in the memory of Dana D-Lo, passed away in 1996 when we were doing the Donington. This song goes out to you. I'll see you in a better place. God bless you, Dana. Attitude.
in simple words, it was pretty much a really hardcore tragedy, for me at least, that I've been involved since my father's death, which happened in '79, which he died in my arms. Nothing like that happened until Dana's death. Was the second most shocking death I ever, be involved, because he was living in my house, and he was murdered. Another reason why it was so shocking was not a natural death. It was not an accident. He was actually murdered by a gang, a Hispanic gang from here, from Phoenix, and he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, really. He was giving two kids a lift that were in my house, and those two kids were involved in a drug deal with a gang, and Dana was driving the car, and behind them there was the gang with the gun, and he tried to save those kids, and he ended up crashing the car in a tree, and he died. The other two kids are still alive, but it gets more complicated. The kids say they both have amnesia, which that cannot happen, at the same time. It's very stressful, because I think it's important mainly for Glory, I think, to put an end on this, to find out really what happened and make justice out of it.
The early death of your father must have made an enormous impact on you.
Yeah, I think that is all connected. One thing, all the things that happened in my life, they all connected to each other, I think, in a very strange way, but makes sense. Just like they say in Brazil, God writes crooked and straight lines, meaning that most of the time you don't understand why God made things like that, why like a mother will have to lose a son, why should a mother bury her own son, why God make the world like this. But you understand later, and it does make sense. Even his death now makes sense, that I was revolted for many years and angry at God for taking him away from me at the age of 9, dying in my arms, and now I understand, and I'm not. I think it had to happen in order to everything, even in order for me to find music. After his death, I found music. And I think if he would be alive, I probably would not become a musician. And my life would be completely different, because he wanted me to be a diplomat. Like him, he was a diplomat, with a tie and going to work in an embassy or something, So even that has something to do with why I became a musician, even the death of my father.
Yeah. You must have missed a father figure in your life.
Yeah, and I think a lot of music I wrote has that, a lot of the aggression, a lot of the hate even from some, you know, the early song, the early album was, I believe, a lot to do because of my dad, because of my father. I was still revolting against losing him so early, you know. But now I understand more because I grow up. I understand much more now than I used to. If you start thinking much about it, I think you go crazy. Like a couple times I went literally crazy thinking about death, of why and how, where we go and all that. You have to stop. That's what I do. I think maybe life is too short to think about death, you know?
But are you afraid of that? I could imagine.
Everybody is, you know. I really believe everybody is afraid of death, even the people that say they're not. When you enter an airplane, you tell me that for 1 second you don't have the doubt in your mind that this might crash. You're in a situation right there that it's not on your hands and it can happen. For 1 second you gotta think about it, you know, and you get afraid, but like I say, I don't think you can think much about it because you become paranoid and you never leave your house. It used to be Indian land everywhere here, and still there is Indian reservations around here. And they told us that Indian people did live here in the past. I don't know how many years ago or whatever, but they did live here.
And that appeals to you?
Yeah, it did, because from my whole interest of the tribal things and the Indian things I started in Brazil, I realized that some of the things that I like about it sometimes is just, even just the thought that there were Indian people here, and you know, that they lived here before anybody else. It appeals to me, you know. I come here and I sense some kind of energy, and it is what I'm looking, you know, if I'm gonna build a studio or something, is what I'm looking for, that type of energy.
You must feel that those people, those Indians from America, are still around here somewhere.
Yeah, even the name Soulfly is about that. It's about the souls of the people that are no longer here, still flying around you, and I believe that. I believe there's always energetic, spiritual forces around you. You just gotta be smart enough to notice them and feel their energy, I think. And I think some people just don't. Some people just, you know, ignores that. They say, oh, that's all bullshit. That's, you know, and think that you're crazy if you think that. I don't. I think I don't believe you die and it just disappear. I think your soul, it stays and goes into other people's to give them energy or spiritual guidance and stuff. when you're talking about soul, why does people have the opinion or the impression that it's soft and mellow? I think your soul can be very loud and rebellious, you know, depending on what life you lived. I think your soul can be like I think if I think of Zumbi or Zulu soul, I don't think of a soft soul. I think of a warrior soul, very loud, screaming soul that lived a life of oppression against slavery and all that. I think that soul is powerful and is very aggressive, very loud, very pissed off soul. You know, so then maybe that's how I vision my music, is maybe the other side of the soul, the aggressive side that a lot of people denies that exists, but I think it exists. Because we have a big fridge and the snake. That's pretty. So, for your viewers, for the kids watching this, parental advisory. There it is. And this is the rattle, which I'm gonna put on the next record. And this is how it counts the years. So there's 14. So the snake was 14 years old. And it's 14 years old, then we kill her in 14 minutes. Yeah. It wasn't me. It was not my fault.
So it came by to watch you guys, or?
I think, you know, because we don't come here, we only come here sometimes. It's not our everyday house. A lot of these animals don't know there's people here still. So she was just outside, just maybe like, I don't know, maybe 20 meters from the house. My son saw it, my little son, 2 years old, saw it and came to tell us, there's a snake here. And we all came and it was there. And then my friend had the weapon and everything ready to catch. Because if I see that myself, I would just run. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to catch them. I don't want to catch them. I'll be inside the house with all the doors locked.
But they're dangerous, right?
Yeah, they're poison. If they get beat up, you have to go straight to the hospital. Don't think twice. So I hope I never get beat by one, or my kids.
Yeah.
So anyway, there it is. The Soulfly snake experience. Can you say hi? Can you say hi to the TV? Can you say hi to the Dutch TV? You've been in Holland. You remember? We went to the Bulldog. You don't remember the Bulldog? He was too little. But since Brazil lost the World Cup, I don't think we're supposed to talk about football.
No. Since Holland lost from Brazil.
Yeah, I don't think you'll like to talk about that. Anyway, so this is my children's toy room, my kids' toy room. A lot of toys. Actually, sometimes, I escape from the house and I come here and I become a kid too for a couple hours, Come here and play with my kids and stuff. Yeah, it's shocking. When I grew up in Brazil, if I had more than 3 toys, it would be a miracle. So to see this is like, it's pretty crazy, It's very the opposite the way I grew up, a different generation.
You first came to Phoenix, Arizona 8 years ago.
Yeah.
More and more Brazilian things pop up in your music. Do you have any answers for that?
All I can make up out of it a little bit is just really the fact that sometimes the fact that you miss your country within the years, you start realizing little simple things that you cannot get here becomes real important, and they become really, really exciting. And when you're in Brazil, they were not exciting at all because they were right in front of you. Even like this instrument I play, the berimbau with 1 string. this instrument has been around me. I've seen this instrument since I was a kid. Yeah, I never bothered to ever even lay my hand on one when I lived in Brazil. I never paid attention. It was like it didn't exist. And when I was outside Brazil, in one of my trips back to Brazil a couple of years later, I decided to go, because you can buy that anywhere in a market, right in the street. It costs $2. It's very primitive. I decided to go and buy one, and I learned how to play and became almost like a trademark. You know, if any other musician is somebody playing that, a lot of fans of Sepultura and Soulfly always remember, oh, that's the instrument that Max plays, you know. So, yeah, it took me get away from Brazil to feel the value of some of the Brazilian things.
Senhor da guerra, zumbi é o senhor das demandas. É zumbi é quem manda. Zumbi é o senhor da guerra, zumbi é o senhor das demandas. É o senhor da guerra, zumbi é o senhor das demandas. Onde zumbi chega, é zumbi é quem manda. Soulfly. Soulfly! 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 Soulfly!
We had a different vision of America, you know. Once you come here, it's different than what you expect. Some things are better, some things are worse. But growing up in Brazil, we had this vision, if you're a musician at least, you come here and you have everything, you know, like a kid going to a toy store, you have all the toys you play with, you know. This is our vision for America, because we couldn't afford instruments, and the government was always against, it's really against supporting musicians. They, you know, by society, musician in Brazil, it's considered a bum. It's not considered a real professional unless you are Caetano Veloso or somebody like that. If you play rock music, you're the same as a bum, you know. So America for us was kind of like, it's the dreamland if you are a musician.
Because you are accepted when you play rock.
You're accepted, you can have your long hair, you can have tattoos, and you can buy a lot of instruments. But then again, once we came here, some of the things were like that, and some of the things weren't. Yeah. I realized the prejudice is still here too, you know. There's a lot of people that still don't accept long hair, tattoos, and the way you look, your aggressive look. Yeah. we were on tour. I was drinking half bottle of vodka every day before I went on. I was just living the rock world thing, you know. It was not stage fright. It was not depressive time, nothing. It was just pure airhead, pure craziness, you know. Like half a bottle of vodka before you go on. That was in 91, 92 on the Arizon tour. And I went to the doctor and he said, I told him I was drinking half a bottle. He said, you're gonna be dead in 2 years, there's no doubt about it, you know. He told me, if you keep like that. And that was a wake-up call, you know. I look at my kids and say, what the fuck am I doing? This is stupid, you know, like, I worked my whole life for this and gonna throw everything away because of booze like that. I did all my hardcore partying. Yeah. And everything from puking on Eddie Vedder to wake up one day and had to apologize for 20 people of what I did last night. I did all that already, you know. So I don't have...
on Eddie Vedder?
Yeah. That's...
On purpose?
No, it was during the ministry tour and everybody was in the ministry bus. And it was Eddie Vedder, a bunch of ministry people, all Yorks, and yeah. I was so wasted. I don't remember. They told me that. But I was so wasted, I ended up puking. The next guy, I was like, ugh! And I look and it was Eddie Vedder, you know. And I'm sorry, man, I was all wasted. That's what they told me. He was very nice, you know. He didn't get mad. He cleaned himself. They gave me some medicine, like sleeping pills to knock me out. But right before I went to sleep, I still managed to grab a bottle of rum and hit their tour manager in the head, and he got 10 stitches. So that's on the hardcore days. So I think some of my bad karma still comes from that, here and there when something bad happens, you know. But I don't do that anymore.
This is our tribe, not your tribe. Step back. This is our tribe, not your tribe. You got that?
Family people that came to see me for the first time on a show, and after the show they couldn't believe it was the same person. And it was like, I remember when you was just a little kid, and I see you on the stage, and you're not the same guy. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of that transformation. Like when I'm on the stage, I am kind of a different person. I have a different, I feel different than I'm here right now sitting down with you. I go, you know, before I went to the stage, I put my head down on the stage on the floor. I pray for like a minute. When I get up, I'm different, you know. I'm not the same because I'm in a different purpose. I'm not in a purpose of just normal life, sitting down here and chatting with you. I'm in a purpose of getting on the stage and getting my message across and all that, and become, I don't know, like a ritual, like a warrior, whatever people want to see, or like a crazy madman. All them together, maybe, you know. And then after the show, I'm back to normal. I go back to the back of the bus. I have my children with me. I'll be eating some pizza and watching cartoon.
But doesn't that make you schizophrenic in a way?
No, not really. I think it's very normal. I think everybody should have that type of therapy to get some of the aggression and frustration or whatever out. I do it with music. Other people do it with karate or soccer. I think soccer is therapy, you know, football, sport, music. You see a soccer player playing and he's aggressive on the field. And when you talk to him after the game, he's different than what he was playing, I think, you know. So it's kind of like the same. I don't think it's that strange, at least for me.
No, but a lot of people in your field of work say, for instance, metal, they have the tendency to also play a role outside of the stage and be tough guys.
Yeah.
And I noticed that you never did that.
I'm against that. You know, I'm always, I've seen those bands, and for me it was always like I have to be myself, and if people don't like it, oh well. They're just not gonna like it. But I'm not gonna fake my life to please certain people, and fake that I'm tough, that I have to be tough for metal, you know. And in a way I think it's good, because I changed some people's mind, I think, about how you should be, that you can listen to heavy music, but you don't need to get out on the street and be beating up people and being an asshole, you know.
Fight the fight and the fight to be free. Fight the warriors, the masters of greed. All the warriors will be. No more, no more, no more slavery. No more, no more, no more misery. No more, no more, no more suffering. King of the praise, God, king of the praise. So be, blow them away. So be, blow them away. Slave drum, here we come, Quilombo, time for war in the land of the sun. I know God never leave us alone. I know God never leave us alone. King of the praise God, king of the praise God. So be, blow them away. So be, blow them away.
People come all the time and asking what happened with Sepultura, that I got really tired of that. I understand they wanted to know, you know, why the band split up, but I was just trying to say, you know, life didn't end with that, you know. Life continues, you know. The band split up, many bands split up over the years and managed to rebuild themselves, and the artist continues. I look at Ozzy, for example, as some kind of a role model, because he was in Black Sabbath, which is a pioneer heavy metal band that influenced everybody, you know, from hip hop to hardcore. And yeah, back then, I think, you know, Ozzy would probably think, man, this is messed up. Now Black Sabbath, I'm out of Black Sabbath. How can I rebuild my career? And he did. So I look at him as a role model. That I think, you know, I can try to rebuild my career too. You know, there's life after Sepultura.
motherfucking hoodie in the faction.
My side of the story. Well, to start with, I think unfortunately, there's this two sides of the story, or sometimes three. My side of the story is very simple. It's just, I didn't like the fact that that a band was getting successful had to get rid of people that have been with us for many years.
You talk about Gloria.
Gloria and some of the roadies, and I thought that was really against the belief of Sepultura, the belief of the tribal thing we have going, which we were calling ourselves, you know, the Sepul tribe. I wasn't joking about that. I was really serious, and I think if you do something like that, you're going against your own words. And for me, that was maybe like the bottom line. If I would do that, if I would say, just okay, fuck Gloria, you know, out of here. We're successful right now. We don't need you anymore. We needed you when we were nothing. Now we got money and houses. Have a nice life.
Because
you know.
she basically let you stay at her house when you first came over to America.
I remember all that, and it's too bad the other three guys forgot that. Forgot the things that she did for this band, that I think other people would not do it. Other people would be like, I'm out of here. You know, she really put love and passion in this group. She believed it, you know, and 110%. And then after become successful, give her the finger and say, see you later. You know, let's get somebody bigger now, because now we can. Now all the big manager would like to work with us now because we have a name. It was just, for me, it was just wrong. There was not even like, they didn't want to even talk about it. Like maybe, or what can we do? It was like, is this or nothing? So Maxa, we are telling you, you want to stay with us, you get rid of Gloria. If you don't get rid of Gloria, you can't stay with us. We continue without you. They give me no choice, so I just say, okay, then I have to go. I have to leave. I love this group. I started this group, but it's not right, and I'm not gonna do this for money, for nothing. You know, if I would have done that, the word integrity would have meant nothing to me, and I would feel like an asshole singing about integrity and doing things like that to people. You know, so it has nothing to do with being my wife. She could have be another person. I would not do that either. You know. People connected the fact that she was my wife. Of course, you know, they're gonna connect it. But if they want to get rid of a roadie that was with us for 10 years, I'll be the first one to be against that too, because that guy was working real hard when we were nobody. And when you're famous, if everybody loves you, you know. But when you're not, when you're like beginning, just a few people are there for you.
No arson, no bullshit, no motherfucking hoodie in the coffee. No radio song, no motion on, no follow on, no warning shit. Let's go, motherfucker! Yeah! Hey, oh, hey, oh!
Something tells me that I should do this, you know. Something tells me it's right, that I'm doing what's right after splitting from Sepultura. Even the name Sepultura means grave, and maybe I myself was not maybe supposed to be in a band called Grave anymore because of my beliefs today. You know, Soulfly for me is a very positive name with a very positive feeling and energy. So it's like a reborn on your career, you know.
demandas. Onde zumbi chega, é zumbi quem manda. Zumbi é o senhor das guerras, zumbi é o senhor das demandas. Onde zumbi chega, é zumbi quem manda. Soulfly! 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 Drive! Come on, buddy! Your drive or drive, your life or life. Your drive or drive, your drive or drive. Your drive or drive, your life or life. Your drive or drive, your drive or everybody in the place. Let me see your hand. Dedicated to everybody here, all the French fans, the whole European, the whole world, the Soulfly drive. Come on, come on, come on. This is our drive, not your drive. This is our tribe, not your tribe. Soulfly tribe. This is our tribe, not your tribe.